Hi, how are you doing? How is it going? So what I want to test is whether this is on. Hi, so can you hear me? We'll be getting ready for this presentation really soon. Hi and good afternoon. This is Phil from Flash Issue. I'm pleased everyone could join me for this Hangout. What I'd like to do during this Hangout is take you through some of the basics of Gmail email marketing using Flash Issue. So my goal here is really to walk you through the product and just give you a chance to take in some of the core features and some of the basic skills that you can employ to do effective email marketing. If you do have any questions at any stage, there is the Q&A session should be live on the right for you to post questions, or equally you can just drop them into the thread below this video, and we can have the discussion there as well. So what I'd like to do is keep this pretty brief to about 30 minutes or so. We will have some time at the end to actually talk through any questions you may have. So let's go over to the product. So the product installs into Gmail. As you can see here, it actually runs inside my Gmail account. If by chance you are not using Chrome, then you can still use the product through our web app view, which is basically the same product, same features, just that it does not run inside your inbox. The core basics to the product, as you can see here, are four parts: the editor, the list tab, the reports, and then the drafts. So why don't we start off by assuming that you've just come to a blank canvas here. The first thing you can do is open one of our templates. There are a number of theme templates in here. I'm just going to start with this blank one. And what this lets you do is build your own email. So one of the core features of Flash Issue is it allows you to bring in social media content from blog sites. This might be your own blog site. This might be a site like TechCrunch, for example. And what this allows us to do is curate content in the form of these summarized articles that we can put into an email newsletter and take a kind of digest type format. Now, equally, I could also go and clip any of my own. For example, here's a story on Inc. magazine. Say I wanted that in my newsletter. I could use these orange scissors that you can see top right of your browser here. If I click those, you'll find that you can clip this article. And this is going to be just thrown onto the clipboard here. So when I come back to the main application and go to clipped, this tab here on the right, there's an article I just clipped. So I can bring that in here. Then if I want to go ahead and edit any of this text, I'm free to change the title if it's too long. I could just kind of pare it down. And I'm free to actually work with the body of this as well if the wording is not quite what I wanted it to be. So that's one component of a newsletter. You can shuffle those around. This is a real rapid way to get content out into your audience. Once I'm happy with that, I can upload a banner, for example. Could put that in there. I can add my title, and then I'm ready to go. Now, if I want to add anything else into the email, I can just use this content box that you can add between articles. You could also add a new box from the base of the editor here by clicking the Add Content box here. Just incidentally, we will be adding a whole library of different content boxes in a couple of weeks. It's just being developed and tested at this stage, so you'll be able to add pre-configured boxes a lot quicker into the product. And then what you're able to do is freeform right in here and basically just create your own content. If you wanted to add an image, you could add an image through this this button here. What I'll do is I'll show you the image adding capability when we go and take a look at one of the templates. So by expanding this box, I also get access to some some more power features here. You can see there's some more formatting features here. If I did want to come along and edit the source HTML, if you're a bit more sophisticated, this is where you could also do that as well. I won't go too much into that because it's pretty much in a more advanced feature. And again, these boxes are also movable like any of the other boxes. One question that often comes up a lot at this stage is, can I have a number of columns in my email? We do provide that through our templates, but columns don't tend to play so well in email. Given that 40% of emails are now open on a mobile device, having 2 columns doesn't play well. Now, we do have responsive templates that kind of stack the email nicely and display it better on mobile, but you still lose some of what do you have. So we try and keep it to just a 1-column format here. Now, once I'm ready to send this, I then have my send options at the top here. I've got 2 methods for sending. I can send to mailing lists that I create, or I can just send to individual contacts, and these are actually just pulled out of my my Google address book. So, for example, there would be one of my emails, and for example, it would be another one. Now, if I now wanted to jump over to the list function of the product, so if I now wanted to create a list, I can very simply do this by clicking the Create button, or just jumping over here to the List tab. So, so let's do that. Now, we've got 2 types of list here, so there's kind of 2 classes of citizen. One is your traditional email list. If you click the New List button, we'll just call this the Hangout list. You create your list. Oh, it's already there. Let's call it Hangout 2. And what that does is brings up a dialog box where I can now just go through and cherry pick any of the names or search for any of the names that I have in my Google contacts. So there's me. I'm actually unsubscribed. Must have done that in the last demo. I'll actually show you that feature in a second. But we could add this one in here. That dummy email is now in that list. So if we go back here, that's one type of list. That's a mailing list. Let me just show you the unsubscribes. Every email you send out with Flash Issue comes with an unsubscribe link at the bottom. They get dropped into here, and they automatically get removed from all of your lists. So you don't send to people who unsubscribe. If you want to remove them from unsubscriptions, you can go there, but you then do need to go back into the list and manually add that contact back in there. So I think I'd unsubscribe myself. Yeah, now I'm able to add myself back in. There I am, and I can get rid of that dummy one. So this list has just got the one person in it. Now, this second feature is a neat feature here, and it's called the Google Group List. Now, what this does is it mirrors all of the groups that you've got created in your Google Contacts. So if I jump over to my Google Contacts here I see I've got 150 contacts. Here's all my groups. So if you go back to the product, you'll see they're just mirrored here with a number of people in it. Now, if we take this one, for example, these are just a list. This is a premium feature here, so I'm not going to go ahead and upgrade here. But what you would actually do is add that in there, and then that list is now added here as a group, like this one you can see here, and it will keep synchronized with your contact address book. So if you go and add someone else into one of these groups, it's going to automatically flow through here when the groups update. So it's a very good way of actually creating dynamic groups and tying them in with your address book. So assuming we're all happy with that and we go back to the editor, we're in a position now to go ahead and send our email. By default, we include this list here called Test Send to Self. So if we were now to send this email, this test would actually go into my Gmail inbox. Go ahead and send that, and there it goes. Now, if I now want to track this email, I can then jump over to the report screen, and you'll see the email I just sent here. If you want to see a bit more detail on a report, you can just click the details. There's the people who got it, the people who opened it. That's the content that's been clicked on. It's also going to show you the people who opted out or unsubscribed from your mailing. So what I'd like to now do is jump back to the editor and take a closer look at the templates we've got on offer here. So if I click one of the new buttons here, you'll see that we have template gallery here. Here's the ones that come pre-populated. So I can take this one here, for example, and here you go. It's already formatted and ready to go. What I need to now do is come in and just start to edit some of the text in here and put my own information in. If I wanted, for example, then to go and add a link to another website, I could just go in and do the same like that. There's the link. Changing the image is just a case of clicking on that image. So you've got 4 options here to replace it, or you can edit the image, completely remove it, or here's a shortcut to actually linking to the image. If we went ahead and replaced this image, what we're going to get is the image manager coming up, and here's your options here for how you pull in images. Now, if you wanted to upload something from your computer, you would just drag your image into here and it would load. I'm just going to go ahead and search for an image. So what this does is gives you some available images that you can pull into the product. If you click once on there, you'll see how big. This is a big image here. We will resize it for you. This image here, let's just take this one. So it gets loaded into the editor. If I then wanted to crop this in any way, I could just go ahead and do that, or I could add any effects and so on. I won't go ahead and do that now. And once I'm happy with it, I can just click Save, and there you go. The image is now in that space, and I'm kind of done with that there. If I'm now happy with this, I could just preview this. You see the section we were just working on there. Just a note here on if I've kind of gone through this template I started with here and added some of my own content in here and made some of the changes I'm happy with. I can at any time go and save this as my own template. Now what this is going to do, it's going to create a snapshot, or rather a copy of this, and it's going to save it into the template library. So when I come back in the future and have a look under my templates, here it is here. There's the one. It will generate an icon, a mini picture of this when it's ready. So I'm able then to actually save any of my templates. If I wanted also to go in and change some of the social icon links at the bottom here, for example, the Facebook one, I'd want to link this over to Flash issue, and that's done. And likewise, I can keep on going through and doing that. Curated content over here into the email. It's very simple just to build up the email that way. This article here I've just dropped in, I mean, if we click over to the real article, you'll see that it's a YouTube video. This is a very good way for including video in an email. You're not able to paste video to play in an email. This is just an email standard. Origins really of which are that Outlook cannot play video. So you have to kind of post a link to it. So this is a great way to do that. Another way possibly to do that would be just to go into one of our content boxes here, for example, and if I wanted to add a video in here, and I just had a thumbnail for a video, let's call it that, for example. If I go ahead and add this guy in here, I think this image might be a bit big, but that's okay. You get the idea. And then you can just simply link to this, and what you would then go and do is just grab the link from here, paste it in here, say open in a new tab, and then you're done. So what would happen now is when you come along as a reader to read this, if I now click this in the email, it's actually going to click over to the YouTube site to play the video. So it's a good tip on how to actually add video into your email. Changing and customizing background colors is possible through the design button up here. You can also, if you actually have a reference number for the color of your company, you can also paste that in there. We are in the process of adding more design options as well, so you can actually come in and change the background color of individual content blocks as well. Again, that will be available later this fall. There is a shortcut for doing this now if you wanted to do that. So say I wanted to go and change the background color, for example, of this block here. What I could do is, let's go ahead and just grab this color reference here, and I'm going to paste it onto my clipboard, and then I'm going to come into the source HTML for this, and you can go in here and find the background color for that block, and I think it's here. It says BG color, and if I paste my new color in there and then save, you'll see the color of this header here just changed. So you actually go in and customize a color like that by just going into the source HTML. So that pretty much covers off all of the customization factors. I'll take a brief pause here. I mean, is there anyone who has any questions at this stage? I mean, I think we're looking. I'm not sure the Q&A feature is actually working on this. So if you want to put here in the feed, I can pick them up here. So I'll just keep an eye on that, but I'll come back in here. Now let's cover off some things like subject line and more kind of some of the basic principles of marketing. So you hear a lot of talk about email clicks and open rates are really driven by the subject line and the time that your email is sent in the day and so on. I've read up a lot about this, and through my own experiences, the first thing I find, the time of day you send your email or the day does not matter. It never has, to whatever I sent out. It's a strange statistic, but it's never really affected what I've done. Not the day, not the time. It just doesn't matter. The subject line will drive opens. Putting gimmicky things in there like free offer and things like that normally will not work. It will also cause a lot of the email clients like Gmail, Yahoo, and so on who receive your email to start to think that you might be a spammer, and then the chance is your email could get sent to spam. So I normally go with a really genuine subject line. It's something like, you know, flash issue founder thinks you'll find this interesting, thinks this is neat, something like that. I try and keep it real. So that's on subject lines. If we move down to more, you know, what could possibly have your email sent to spam? An email like this with genuine content in it, it's got a lot of text, it's got images in it, is going to be pretty good. What would probably get you sent to spam is if you go with an email, for example, that has just got one big image in it. So if I just put one image in here, or I take a screenshot of a Word document and just paste that in there, it's likely to go to spam. So again, keep your content real, keep it genuine, and you should be okay. With regards to your audience, one of the other big questions I get is, who can I email to? What is spam? What do I need to do to comply with CAN spam? Again, it's really, if you're buying lists and mailing them to people unsolicited, you're going to get dinged. If we pick up on that, and we've got a lot of automation that looks at that type of thing, you will get your account terminated. Gmail or Yahoo will send your content to the spam folder if people start reporting you as that. And once you get labeled as that, it's very difficult then to undo it. So building a mailing list to the people you know in your address book is legitimate if your content is legitimate. Sending an email to a list of your customers who have previously registered for a service is legitimate. We always provide a, if you go over to reports, you can actually see the web view of emails that have been sent. So here, for example, is the email we sent to ourselves. This here has an address on the bottom. The web view doesn't have an unsubscribe, but the real email that arrives in your inbox, which is here, will have an unsubscribe link, and here it is. So we're doing that heavy lifting for you. As I said, if someone unsubscribes, that's going to appear in the list tab in the unsubscribe section here. And I've got no one who has unsubscribed at the moment. So that for me covers off most of the basics of certainly getting up and going with Flash Issue. If you do have further questions, you can post them here. I will answer everything. We do have an extensive support database as well. So if you're ever inside the product, you can click here for help. And this should suggest content for you. You know, how do I create a mailing list? So you can use that. You're also able to send an email to our support department as well if you don't have your have your questions answered. One final thing, which is probably very important, is that I forgot to mention is over here you have a menu of options here. Here is the settings option. What this lets you do is activate or deactivate a number of features in your end email. This one, for example, will turn off the Flash Issue branding at the bottom of an email. This is a premium feature. So if you try and change that off, you will be turn that off, you will be prompted to pay. This one here, the middle one, is going to turn off the public URL and the social icons along the top of the email. So if, for example, you do not want these to appear, that are used for sharing your email, not for promoting it to your Twitter account, or you want to turn this off, you can use that. If you want to turn off the individual icons off here on articles, there's a separate setting for that, and that was the hide the social icons at the bottom. And if you want to change the wording that appears on your articles here, that can be done from the settings as well. So that concludes the settings, and let's just go over to the account page. This is where you'll be prompted and sent to after your 60-day trial on upgrading to a paid product. The product is based on your list size. You can upgrade at any time. If you do choose to cancel at any time, you will receive a prorated refund for the unused part of the month. And these limits here are actually based on the number of emails you keep at any given time inside your lists. So you could have 10 lists of 50 people, that would equal 500, or you could have one list of 500 people, that would equal 500 as well. If you rather do a pay-as-you-go option, then you can buy credits, and each time you send an email to a person, to a recipient, one recipient equals 1 credit. Those will be deleted accordingly. And with that, we are pretty much out of time. So let me just jump back over to here. I don't see any questions. I've appreciated your time, and we hope to see you around Flash Issue. Drop me a note if you have any questions. But bye from now. This was Phil Hill, CEO of Flash Issue.